I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome everyone to the April 20th meeting. First, I'd like to ask everyone to join me for a moment in silence. We lost one of our former mayors of the town of Elkton, Jim Krause. Jim Krause served as mayor from, I believe it was 1978 to 1998. He served as a town commissioner from 74 to 78. And Jimmy made a lot of changes, and he was very instrumental to a lot of the growth that has happened in the town of Elkton. And I know that I think the three of us here to the right actually served with Jim. I served as a town councilman in 1994. Gene was on board in 90 or 92? And Charlie came on in 94 also. And we all got to serve with Jim Krause for 4 years, and probably there's one story I'd like to say before we go into the moment of silence, that one of the funniest things at the time, I didn't think it was all that funny, but today I really think it was funny. Jim was doing the town budget, and we were all sitting up here, and in the town budget it showed a savings in the water and the wastewater budget by thousands. I mean, tens and 20 and 30, 40, maybe even $100,000 in savings to the town of Elkton. We're like, how'd this all happen? And then he said, well, we're going to go with, at the time, Severn Trent as the new wastewater operator for the town of Elkton. Well, none of us knew that he was negotiating. None of us knew what he was doing, and we didn't accept his budget. I think it was the first time ever that we never approved a budget in the town of Elkton on that first night of introduction. So at the very next meeting, we had a friend of that used to come to all the town meetings. It was Bobby Ash, and Bobby Ash brought us all T-shirts. Jimmy in the newspaper called us all dummies.
I got them.
You still? Oh, you got the.
I got them.
You bought the shirts. So Gene bought the shirts and brought them into us, and we all had dummy shirts on for the next meeting.
We had, it was dummy number 1, dummy number 2.
That's right. But it was, but we went on after he explained it to us. It's been a great partnership with Severn Trent and now Infomark. And Jimmy had the foresight to see that. You know, we privatized that part of our business. Another thing that he was very instrumental on was, when it came to trash collection. He was wanting to privatize that, and we did, and it worked out. We had a lot of, tremendous amount of worker comp issues, and it went, he was very instrumental in that. And then the way we see it today, we have a business community called the Elkton Alliance and Chamber. In the, I guess it was around 1995, 1996, we had, the chamber actually ended. It was over. Volunteerism was on its way out, and Jimmy led the group to form the alliance, and it was formed, and they helped with the revitalization of Elkton at that point when we were able to bury the underground utilities. We got funding for the Cecil College building over here, and it was all good stuff at that point. So I'd like to ask everyone to join me for a moment. Thank you. I should have asked you guys if you wanted to share a story if you had one. I think I covered it.
Yeah, you told the best one.
All right. Very good. Okay, minutes of April 6th. Do we have a motion to approve for the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. We have a motion
So moved. Second.
and a second. Any discussion on the payment of the bills? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We do have a presentation, and we've been going back and forth. The town of Elkton was very fortunate to receive ARPA funding, and in our first tranche of dollars that we have received, we've been going now probably close to a year of understanding how, and it was very clear how we could use some of these funds. One was for our infrastructure, water, sewer, roads, broadband. It was pretty clear. But when it came to figuring out how we could work with our community, the entities that have suffered during COVID, just like families have suffered, we just wanted to make sure that we did things right. And I have to say, if it wasn't for our leadership here to our left, Louis and Steve, and Michelle's not with us today, we wouldn't have been able to really fine-tune this to where we will be able to administer some monies to some of our organizations that absolutely need it, and we're here happy to do that. So we're very happy, and we've got members of the fire company here, and I know that our board would like to make a presentation to your board for a check. Luke, you going to take some pictures of us? Charles, you want to come down, and we'll all go down there and get a photograph?
Go ahead, Sue.
All right.
Not every day you give $500,000 away.
So we have a photograph. I'll get down here where we can say the dollar amount so we can all jump up and down.
What over here?
Here, let's get in front here. And for the camera, we have a large sum of money, not one of those real big checks, but we got a large sum of money.
I don't think they care how big that paper is.
No, I don't think so neither.
Whatever the bank
It's
is.
what's on it.
I actually forgot to deposit some, I should have.
But I have to tell you, Singley Fire Company, we're so proud of all the work that you guys do for the town of Elkton. I mean, it's really been an eye-opening for us to get to partner and understand your organization better. And I think that we need to keep this communication going.
Absolutely.
Because it's very, very important. And, you know, we were talking a little bit about Jim Kraus, and one of the things that he did, I think it was in 1978, when there was
The ambulance?
the ambulance and the appointment, the confirmation of the appointment of the chief. Used to come in front of the town board prior to that, and then Jimmy basically said, well, why do we need to do that? And he was right, we didn't need to do it. But it was, what it did is it kept
At least once a
discussions
year we
going.
met.
Well, at least we met. So with this, I'd like to present the Singerly Fire Company, Mr. Steve Hora. I'd be very tickled to give you this check on behalf of the town of Elkton and the 17,500 residents of the town of Elkton. This check to you for $500,000.
And we're very pleased to accept it.
Woo! Thank you. All right, let's get in here and smile. Got it.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really glad this could happen.
Sam, thank
Joe,
you.
really.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the time you did.
All right, I'm gonna get this to back.
We'll spend it all in one place.
Just a reminder, that check is dated Friday, and all our accounts will check
Jeannie,
are dated
do
Friday.
you want to sit up here?
All right,
please,
thank you.
Chair?
Yeah, I can go get.
It's post-dated for 2 years from now.
Hey, still
Say
there.
Friday.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, next up we have Lou, I guess you're on.
Okay, the first, speaking of Infomark, the first item I have is the fifth amendment to the contract. The current contract that expires 23, I think, provides for a adjustment December 1st of each year related to the municipal cost index, it's called. This year, the municipal cost index that would apply to this contract would be 10.779, I believe, %, which is pretty significant amount of money. However, after a meeting and going back and forth with Severn Trent, they've agreed to keep that limit to 8%, which would save the town a considerable amount of money. Actually, it saves the town $14,000 a month, or rather $10,000 a month instead of $14,000 a month by doing the 8%. So I would recommend that the town agree to a Fifth Amendment that would allow for an 8% adjustment on the annual cost of the contract base fee opposed to the municipal cost index amount of 10.7%.
I'd like to mention to the board that over the last couple months, I've been CC'd on copies of Lou and Infomark going back and forth negotiating this, and I feel very comfortable that they've addressed all the spots that they need to address. So I'd like to ask the board for a motion to accept the Infomark agreement for operation and maintenance, the Fifth Amendment to this agreement.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Lou. Your next item?
Next item I have is Resolution R3. Resolution R3 is a resolution by the town supporting the Neighborhood Business Works Program grant, or loan actually, in the amount of $793,300 to the Music Farm LLC / Music Elkton Music Hall, 107 North Street, that's going to be located there. And they applied for this loan in order to, I guess, prepare the building for their business. And through the grant process, they require a resolution from the local government, which this resolution provides. I think there's a letter of support that also goes along with this too. It's going to be sent to the Department of Housing and Community Development. So I would recommend that the board pass Resolution R3 2022 authorizing a loan to the Music Farm LLC Elkton Music Hall in the amount of $793,300 from Neighborhood Business Works Program.
We have a motion to approve Resolution R3-2022.
So moved.
Got a motion? And a second. And just to make sure the town's aware, this is just showing our support of that loan with the Neighborhood Business Works, which is an entity within the state of Maryland that loans money to small businesses, owner-operated businesses, and predominantly for businesses that are within a municipality. So
Yes.
it's a really, really nice tool, and I think that I can't wait to have that 107 North Street building, which has been vacant for 12 years, I believe now, if not longer, and it's going to be a great thing to see some action there. But they did close on the property, so there is a new owner of it. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, Lou?
Next item I have is recommendation to issue notice of award to Wickersham Construction Engineering Incorporated, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, for the construction of well house number 4. The amount of the contract will be, let me see here, $1,344,984 will be the base contract, and there's a contingency for $12,300 also. So the local government, KCI has evaluated the bid, all the bids, and has also recommended that Wickersham be awarded the contract. Wickersham built the well number 2R and 5, and they also were the contractor for the design build for the Neighborhood Community Center. So we're very familiar with this the company, and they're very competent and conscientious group of people to work with. So I would recommend that the town agree to issue a notice of award to Wickersham Construction Engineering Company.
Do we have a motion to give notice of award to Wickersham Construction for project 2021-001, the well house number 4.
So moved.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the Wickersham? We did open up the bids, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and Wickersham was also noted that they were the low bidder. All in favor?
Aye.
This will be funded by ARPA money also.
Perfect.
So
Nice.
that's all I have under my agenda today.
Okay, let me autograph these couple of things here, and I've got a few things to say. Not much, but a few. I thought we didn't meet last Wednesday, in the week prior, in between, we had the Little League Parade. I thought it was a great evening. It was great to see the participation from the Little League, and it's exciting that it's play ball season, other than we had a little bit of rain that hindered the fields again this past week. But it's very exciting. It's always exciting to see the Little League playing. And that parade, it was, I think it was larger than the year before. I thought it was a really nice parade. Last week, I hosted a landlord meeting. We haven't had a landlord meeting for the last couple of years during COVID, but it was really good to get to, there's one individual that was here. In fact, Earl, I'll tell you, it was one of your friends that is now owns multiple houses in Hollingsworth Manor, and he's really working on trying to clean it up. And his last name is Morgan. What's your friend's name?
I have no friend.
Jeremy.
Jeremy Morgan.
Is it Jeremy, the one you remember you used to call him? Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's active in I think you coached him at Cecil College.
Okay, yeah, I know you're talking.
And it was great to get them back together again. We're organizing multiple cleanups in the neighborhood over the remaining month of April and into May. Also, the one thing that we had a discussion about was cameras. I'm still trying to work on a really deep deal that where residents of the town wants to acquire video cameras or surveillance cameras for their property. I'm still working on getting, I'm going to say, a bulk buy that they can call in under a certain code, and they'll be able to get huge discounts. And the landlords helped me understand some of the do's and don'ts that they can do and can't do on their own rental properties. But it was a very positive meeting, and my goal is good, bad, or indifferent. I think that we just need to have as many cameras out there, make it Elkton smile. You're on Elkton friendly camera, right? Yes, it was. Elkton family or Elkton camera friendly. Monday night I attended Meet the Candidates night. I got the first hand of all the new, the 3 new people running for county council, as well as the 3 that are currently on the council. So there was a little Meet the Candidates night over at the American Legion, and got a little insight on who's running and who's already in there. So it was really a good evening for me. With that, that's all I have. Jean, do you have anything
Well,
good for the board?
the only thing I have right now is I want to wish you happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I should have done this before we started the meeting.
Another, you have 2
I
a year
have
now?
it down.
That's why I figured this other birthday.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
It's tomorrow, right?
It is, I love it.
Yeah.
That was rabbit season.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Oh,
Happy
Emily. Happy birthday
To me.
Look like a mama, and you act like one too.
Thank you.
Now, are you going to MML tomorrow night, or?
I have signed up for MML. I think I put one person. I was going, I'm leaning toward it.
Okay,
It-
I was just curious.
Yeah, my wife has actually been out of town the last couple of days with the grandbabies. So I gotta see what she might have planned for me tomorrow night. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So I'm just not sure.
all right.
Charles?
Yesterday afternoon, I had lunch with the ministers in Cecil County, or more so Elkton, they call themselves, GEMA. And they were up to the Randall Center, up talking with that board about, what can they do for the homeless and what have you. And they have done a lot of good things up to the Randall Center. And the one question that they hit the board, and I can't remember her name, asked is, how is the town of Elkton still looking at them? And I said, basically, we do not have a negative perception. You all had some issues before, we resolved them, and, everything's been going fine.
Yeah.
So, that's good on our part, that we looked out for them the best we can. Louis, what is your perception? I know we received an email this morning about the current mask mandate here for the town of Elkton.
I implemented it again.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying, any particulars?
I can't disclose who has COVID in a.
Oh, I understand that.
We have had some frequency of employees affected by COVID. Consequently, I asked that the team remask.
And if they don't?
If they don't, I go talk to them.
Okay, that's a good answer right there.
Yeah. Lou, do you think we should, did we ever get any home kits here?
I don't believe we do. We have masks, tons of masks.
Maybe we should try to get kits here and ask maybe for the next couple weeks, maybe everyone tests at home before they come in.
I can find out, because
I don't
I
know.
have kits of my own that I bought with
Yeah.
my money, but I've never used taxpayers' money to buy kits.
Well, maybe we should take a look at that. Yeah, we should be able to use ARPA funding for that.
I like the idea.
Yeah, we might be able to get some testing kits here. Andy, maybe take a look at that and figure out what we could do, and
They're more available now
they're
than
very
before.
available now, yeah.
Right.
Yep, so, agree it's not a bad idea. I don't mind disclosing that I had it last week, and I tested right away because I had a kid at home.
Yeah,
And I was comforted to know that I had it and stayed home. But we can look at the pricing, and I can consult back with Lewis, and I'm sure he'll just consult with the board.
Yeah. There's a pharmacy place out on Route 40. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Rite Aid? No, it's not a major, it's right up from where Taco Bell is up on the right.
Are they selling it by bulk, Commissioner?
I'm wondering if they wouldn't work with us, because they had them in abundance during, when it was really hard to get, and their prices were the best. I'm just,
That's great.
there might, any of them might work with us as a town, but
Yep.
I might start there, if we're gonna look into it. And my question is, we're on COVID, so if you implement this mask, how do you determine how long to keep it?
How long do we wear them?
How long do you determine when to not require them?
When nobody else gets sick, I guess. I mean, I don't have any magic formula, because I don't think the
I know.
CDC does either, or any
I
state
know.
government. So I just have to shoot from the hip by saying that I think it's the best way to protect our employees is for them to mask up.
So this.
Social distancing, wash hands, the whole thing, the CDC guidelines. And if that works, that's we'll stick with.
And that's true, and sometime you can get some help from the health department, just in general, with Cecil County or Elkton or what have you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Louis.
anything else, Joe?
No, we good.
Oh, I did forget, Actually, two things, Lou. I was with a gentleman yesterday, and he mentioned that there's a little section on Whitehall Road on the other side of 213, which possibly could be the county. Is there a little section that belongs to the county leading into, like, before you get to Buttonwoods from Redner's?
I mean,
That's
all
what's
that
right now.
around, that whole side.
There is,
Yeah, there's a, and I thought it was the county also.
yeah, several homes there.
Yeah, he said that the road, that one section from like behind Redner's up to where it becomes Town of Elkton property is getting a little shabby and there's potholes in the area. Maybe we could send a note to the county and request
Sure.
them to take a look at that. And then as I'm talking to him, he lives in Kensington Courts, and this was a little shocker to me. And I'm not correct, I couldn't question him, but he did mention that he didn't believe that there was ever a top coat of pavement put in on Kensington Courts, like on the main drags through there, like Highland, and there was 2 or 3 of the main roads. So maybe we could have Dan take a look at, because he said you can actually see the rebar coming out of the road.
Hope there's not rebar.
Rebar would have been under concrete roads. I mean, I feel the
On
same
catch
way.
basins maybe, but it wouldn't be in the road. But Dan, I believe, is gonna repave the island.
Good.
I think it's on the list.
No, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's a wonderful thing. I'm sorry, Earl.
You,
You're on now.
well,
Oh, I got something else. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
We're a
I'm here-
team, we can.
I'm here with you guys.
Uh,
I have, wait, I want to follow up from the masking. So, do you see us going back into the Zoom meetings since COVID is still a question here at the building? Louis?
To go back to,
The Zoom meetings, because you're bringing up the COVID issue here with the masking again. I'm just letting you know that if that's opening up another door again with the masking, people coming in.
we may have to do that.
I'm just letting you know, we need to figure it out, because I came past this morning, I didn't even see the sign, I wasn't even paying attention. So with me not seeing it, I know other people are gonna do the same thing.
I think the only thing I would question when it comes to the meetings, when I say whether this meeting, the planning commission meeting, the Board of Appeals meeting, the state of Maryland, I mean, we have to take each individual situation as it goes, but I would prefer, if we had to do that, then we maybe postpone it a couple days rather than going back to Zoom.
I'm just bringing up as a.
This is my comment.
Something that's-
I don't know how the rest of the group feels, but the state of Maryland is not, I mean, they're open for business now. And I think we've got an infection inside this building per se right now, and we're addressing it. I
And
think-
it's almost like what's going on with the planes right now. People are concerned.
You don't have
Because
to.
I know you don't have to, but then there's people that want to
You
wear
can.
it because of their health. But anyway, that's a thing, your preference is based on your safety, you're protecting yourself, but you're not
Yes.
protecting the person beside you. So those are things that are gonna have to be answered, and we've got to have a little following guidelines in order for everybody else to understand which way we're going. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up as a question. And I'd like to have a follow-up from, I know Michelle's not here, the digging out on Whitehall Road and even Buttonwood, I think it's that contractor that was doing all the work. I still got a hole sitting beside my cable post. There's a hole in the ground. I'm not sure whether they're coming back to finish digging or running the lines, the gas line.
Yeah, right. There's
So-
something down there?
Yeah, it's a hole there. I was gonna cover it over when I was cutting grass, but they may be still working, I'm not sure. I need somebody to follow up. The other thing is I need the grass seed and stuff, but out on those pieces of property that they dug up, because it's just a mess out there, and I don't wanna have to be the one to go out there and do it myself. But, okay, follow up on that. Number 2, I see that we're releasing some ARPA money. Did we talk about that armory getting fixed up because of using ARPA money? Did we talk about that? I'm looking at what's going on in Baltimore, these buildings that are being renovated with the ARPA funds. The armory, we should be having that thing open and fixed up by now. That ARPA money should be able to be used for that.
I don't know how much ARPA money we'll have after we get done all our capital projects. That's the issue I have. Because also we're using ARPA money to subsidize town operations. So I don't, it's not an
That's gonna be a town
indefinite
operation.
amount of money. It's finite.
Yeah.
And before I start putting money over there, I kind of want to
Well,
all my
let's
capital
see.
projects done, because I got 4 of them,
Okay.
and
I hear you.
it's gonna be a couple million just for the reservoirs,
A question
just
I
for
would
that,
like,
and I already
question
spent
I
a
would like to bring
million,
up, okay,
2 other million already.
I got you. A question I'd like to bring up, that building would be a nice building for, especially for the youth in the summer, that we don't have any place for them to go, especially if we use the COVID as the main reason. That building could be used right now with the recreation center
You mean to,
for use for the community.
the only problem is we'd have to staff it. We wouldn't hire additional people, and I don't think it's in our budget to hire more people in conjunction with the Armory and the Neighborhood Community Center. I don't think you have the income to do it.
Lou, could we ask you maybe to get Chip to give us an idea of what it would take financially maybe to get the building up and running?
Now, you've got to keep in mind, the whole bottom of that building is already used
Yes,
by the town,
yes,
so you only have the drill hall.
that's correct.
And the other offices really aren't youth offices, they're military.
I've been asked by the community also about, could they host meetings in there? And of course, I think the issue was the bathrooms, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't think the
And
bathrooms.
you don't have too many. It's designed for the armory
It was.
and not human beings that are normal. I can tell
Okay,
you.
so,
Wasn't
okay,
there a lead paint issue as well?
I think all those have been, are being addressed, or they were addressed, I think.
Handicap accessibility also, like you
okay.
mentioned.
As far as, Louis, and again, I'm not being negative,
No, I don't think you're negative, I just wonder about our financial ability to
so.
do that.
So when you talk about the staffing, I'm just putting this out there, the staffing of the building, talking about the use of the gymnasium area, if they're using the staff out there in the Meadow Park, they have staffing for that, right? The same staffing would go into that building. You wouldn't have to worry about staffing, would you?
I don't know if they're simultaneously having the activities, so
If
you
they're
don't have the
having- right.
activity in the park.
They have a staff member working with the
I
kids.
just have
Okay,
Mary.
it's just, I'm just letting you know, there's ways of getting around this other than just hiring people. If you got people, or part of the staff there, if they go out to Meadow Park or wherever they have their functions, that staff member is in charge of that area, I mean, that program. So in other words, if they had 3 staff members to go in that building, there's your staffing. I'm just using that as a way around that. So anyway, I don't think you quite understand what I'm asking, but anyway, it's.
I understand what you're saying, I'm not,
You know,
the
perhaps we can.
logistics involved in just using the drill hall is what I'm
Perhaps
saying.
we can do this on a
Okay.
workshop and really
It's
come
only
up
like
with
a
plans.
small restroom there.
Because even before you talking about going in that building, or even before you talk about staffing, you've got to have an idea, what use can you get out of that building? Take kids over there, run up and down the floor, but exactly what are they gonna do, where are they gonna do it? And then I think after you determine that, then you can figure, going back, how much staffing you would need there. I mean, you could have 4 people assigned there, and you don't need but 2. You could have 3 people there at once, so that's what I'm saying, what programs? But obviously, it should be able to be used somehow because it's a large space.
I
That's
think
what
the
kids need.
thing I want to comment here is that there's 1 restroom with 1 toilet, and there's 1 restroom with 2 toilets. And if you have a large number of people, you don't have the facilities that would support a group. That's why when we had the neighborhood service center built, we had all these extra facilities put in to accommodate groups of people. And I'm not sure how the Army would do it, because the Army didn't do it that way. They had a whole different way they did things in those days. I think if we put on new restrooms, you're talking $1 million bucks or something.
All right.
throw all that out.
We're good.
Robert?
Louis, when you were speaking of a finite amount of money, and it can only be spread so far, were you talking about the first staunch or the entire amount?
I don't know, we haven't got word on the second amount yet, have we?
No, that should be.
No, that's what I mean. We don't know when or how much.
So then-
theoretically we'll get.
Then I assume we're speaking about the first staunch.
Yeah. That's what I'm working with.
Right,
That's the money I have to work with.
very good. The other thing I was wondering about, we discussed Zoom membership or Zoom meetings, and it doesn't sound like we're even going to do that, but weren't we under a contract to host these meetings? Don't we have to renew that?
Yeah. It's over now.
We ended it, correct?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I would like to piggyback on what Rob said about the Little League Parade. It went very well. The kids were very enthusiastic about it. The coaches and staff were very enthusiastic. The day went well. We had beautiful weather, and it was a nice walk around the block. Other than that, I would like to say that during the course of my campaigning here, I have spoken with a lot of the citizens of the town, and I've received nothing but positive feedback in the direction that we've gone and the direction that we're headed. And I'm very proud to be part of this board. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
One other comment, I just can't believe that Army only has one bathroom.
No, the drill hall, there's a bathroom, it's one toilet, and then there's a separate one. I think they use that for the women, that has 2 toilets, that's it.
The shower was
Now downstairs, there was the men's, downstairs was for the rank and file military people. But that's where we have all our records and everything, so you can't have the public downstairs unless we,
So what do we have upstairs now?
and we need janitorial staff too.
What's up? What do we have
that.
upstairs now?
So upstairs.
There's nothing upstairs.
Nothing. If we strategize correctly and work on those bathrooms upstairs, I think that we could use the drill hall's the only space that we could use for the public.
No, I'm talking about our upstairs.
Oh, our upstairs, I think our upstairs, the police are going up there. aren't they?
Yeah, I think the military.
Okay, so we have police
Our
up here
military,
and
yeah,
other
yeah.
records over
Yeah,
there,
police are using that.
correct?
And other records there, and then the police records have gone next door.
Yeah, I think we're gonna fix that up over there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, one thing I forgot to add was that I will be attending the MML meeting tomorrow night at Cecilton.
It'd be nice if we knew exactly, we got 3 spaces here. The hall upstairs was beautiful for events. We had dinners, we had programs, we, could use it if the community wanted to host something, it was available. We lost that, right?
Yeah, we're expanding the police operations up there for training and everything.
For
Because our
training.
police department's getting too big for
Okay.
downstairs.
That's
But-
huge.
But how do we make these decisions if you know what's going there, and you know what's going there, what's up there?
That's
There's
what I'm
nothing
saying.
wrong with that, but
Yeah.
keep us abreast of your intentions, so we can vote for you.
But maybe we would like to have a place where
I thought
we
I
could
said something
replace
else.
what we had up there
Yeah.
with a small kitchen, adequate bathrooms where the
I think
public
we could
can
do it.
come in and utilize it.
I think we could take that armory space, the upstairs,
The first floor.
the first floor.
Okay.
Downstairs belongs to the town, that's our
Okay.
records. You don't
Okay.
want public down there anyhow.
No.
It's a dungeon.
Yeah, it is.
But upstairs, I think that it's a beautiful space, and, I was approached about you remember they had the tree festival
Yes.
there? They've had,
It was beautiful.
they used to have a tool show over there, and it really didn't take a lot, but it is a concern. I feel Lewis's concerns, if you should walk into those bathrooms up there.
Right, okay.
I mean,
So-
they are, it's like going into the old school.
I would like to see us firm up a better budget with the ARPA funds.
I think we'll work on that. I agree with you.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much, other than, I think I mentioned to the board that Rick Keene had, I mentioned this at the last minute, Rick Keene has given me his resignation off the planning commission, and just had some feelers out there. I kind of tried to hand pick maybe an individual to come on board based on area of need or representation in the town. And as soon as she brings her application in, her name is Mandy Feeney. I think you know Mandy. Mandy's a school teacher at Elkton High. Her husband is Coach Feeney of the Elkton football team, but she has expressed to me that she would serve on the planning commission, and she lives in Kensington Courts, which is an area of the town that we don't have any representation that I'm aware of any board. And to add to that, with the construction of Southfields that'll be happening from the planning board perspective, it's probably good to have someone with it happening in their backyard. So
Mayor, she did submit her.
she did submit it, so we'll get it, we'll submit it throughout the board, and maybe at the next meeting, we'll vote her in if the board feels okay with that.
And in reference to Mr. Keene, you know, the
Yeah.
short period of time that I was on there, he was invaluable.
He's,
He asked all the important questions and really kept the town of Elkton, you know, foremost in his, you know, the best that we needed.
And if
How am I saying
If I
that?
could, I think he would have stayed on the board if we would have continued to have virtual meetings.
Right. He could have.
I think
He
he would have.
could have, you know.
Yeah.
It's a shame to have lost him. And I certainly would like to put something, if we're not going to make any accommodations, we're gonna move forward, maybe we could send a letter to him or something from the board, from the town.
yeah, I'd like to have him in and recognize him, but,
Yeah, I don't know if
but I'm
he
not
would.
sure if he'd even come in.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
I don't think he'll come in. Okay, this is the time we open up the floor for anyone that has anything to say for the good of the town of Elkton. Hearing none?
I got something to say. Louis, it'd be nice if the chief of police could send us a picture profile of the officers they have. When they're hired, they know who we are because pictures are back there. And there was a meeting last night that I attended from the NAACP, and we were leaving, one of the officers, a female officer, introduced me to a guy I didn't know was a policeman here.
I met one the
And the
other
guy
day.
was saying that he came here as not as a new person, but a veteran from Chester County, Pennsylvania. I'm saying, gee. I mean, not that you need them, but it's nice to know them, as they know us. Does that make sense?
Commissioner?
You
Mayor, may I say something?
Yeah.
I working with Renee years ago, I guess they used to do a newsletter, employee newsletter. What we can do is incorporate new hire pictures for employees in there,
That's good.
There's the answer.
and we can distribute it
That's good.
as well. So we'll work on that, and I'll report back to Louis and let you know and get his approval once we're ready.
Now, thank you for saving Louis, but prior to that, we also used to have any new hire that came before the board.
I see.
But, you know,
I
that
see.
went away, and, you know, but that's a good idea.
I like that
I do too.
idea.
Yeah, the newsletter, we like to do new hires, birthdays, anniversaries. You know, we'll even put your mayor, your belated birthday in there, if we can get that up and running.
Could you put me on the cover?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Charles. It's a very good point. I met two officers downtown last week that I thought I had not met before. I just didn't remember them. But it would be a nice thing to have them a little more visible.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it, Mayor, for me.
All right, meeting adjourned.